Ladies and gentlemen, let us now hear Mrs. Tawakkol Karman, the Nobel Peace Award of 2011.
Hello, Brazil. Peace be upon all of you. Assalamu alaikum. Obey. Venido, jamais será vencido. Obey, venido, jamais será vencido. Obey, venido, jamais será vencido. Yes, this is Brazil that I want to visit, to hear. Brazil that represents the voice of people. The voice of people, the struggle of people, their determination to create change and peace around the world. Equality at the same time. So thank you, President Lula, for inviting me to this great social G20 summit. Thank you, Brazil, for hosting me to be part of you. I don't know if there is translation or should I continue in English? Is there direct? Should I continue? So, anyone who doesn't understand English will feel what I say, okay? So, I love you, Brazil. Te amo, Brazil. Te amo, Brazil. So, again, thank you, President, for inviting me to be here in the social G20. So I'm here representing the international NGOs. I am here representing the power of women who include many women around the world came here to Brazil or via online or everywhere who want to send a very strong message to the G20 summit. So they asked me to talk about how to build and how to protect global peace. I think it is a very important topic that we can discuss these years and to discuss here in Brazil day before the G20 summit. How to create, how to build, how to protect the global peace. The global peace now has a lot of threats. There is a lot of things that attack and threaten the global peace. One is the climate change caused by the global warming. Two is the escalating wars, conflict, oppression around the world. Three is the absence of the economic equality, is the increasing poverty. Four is the lack of efficient global governance. So if we want to build, to create, to protect global peace, we have to address all these four important issues. Now, we are here in Rio, the great city that hosted three very important summits on the climate change. Three Rio climate change summits was here, hosted here in this city. And yes, there is some progress after these three summits, but the reality is that there is no real change in the decreasing the global warming. No real. There is no implementation to the three results or outcomes of the Rio Climate Change Summits. So the problems is not with the summits, with the conventions, with the agreements. The problems is with the implementation. Implementation. So, what we want now, and I am so happy and so optimistic of this summit because it's now again in Brazil and under the leadership of the President Lulu. So I urge him and his administration to make the resolutions of the three Rio summits on the climate change and the coming of resolution after tomorrow's summit to be followed by the Brazilian people and by the Brazilian president and government. So it's most important now that we gather all our efforts, especially the leaders of the G20 that will meet tomorrow. They have now to decrease the global warming and to decrease the emissions, the gas emissions in our planet, to protect our planet from the degradation that attack the ecosystem and the biodiversity of our mother planet. This is very important. This is number one, because climate change causes a lot of instability, causes mass flee and displacement, cause a lot of resource lackness, and this attack global peace. Second, the increasing wars, conflict, and oppression. Now the oppression is increasing everywhere. The tyrannies become stronger and stronger. The wars in Gaza, in Ukraine, in Lebanon, in my country Yemen, in Sudan, in Libya, in many countries in Africa, the oppression, the injustice cause a lot of this stability. A lot of injustice, a lot of, again, mass displacement. Wars are increasing everywhere. So, if we want to build and protect global peace, we should stop wars. We should stop wars. And we should stop occupation. Occupation should be stopped now. No more occupation. Occupation should be stopped. We should protect democracy and defend on democracy. We should support women and youth to be there in every field in the life, especially in the decision making. We should protect indigenous people, giving them all their rights. So this is how to build peace and to create global peace. Third, we should reduce the big gap between wealthy countries and poor countries. Economic equality is the key of peace building. Economic equality is the key of peace building. Now, the poor countries become poorest and poorest and poorest, and the rich countries become richest and richest and richest. Poverty is everywhere. And the leaders who will meet tomorrow, they have 85% of the GDP, of the global GDP. As they have the wealth, as they have the influence, they should carry the responsibility to narrow the gap between wealthiest countries and poorest countries. They have to carry the responsibility to distribute the wealth to the poorest country, to create sustainable development everywhere in this planet. This is how to create sustainable peace. Fourth is the lack of the international governance. We have a very big shortage in the global governance. We have a very big shortage. The most important international institutions should be reformed, like the World Bank, the IMF, the United Nations, the Security Council himself should be reformed. Those organizations unfortunately marginalized the voices of the global south. They marginalize the voices of the global south. And they represent the real inequality between nations. The veto, the P5 veto itself represents the inequality between nations. So we have to delete, to remove the right of the P5 countries to veto. This veto represents the inequality and lead to the inefficient, participation and practices of the Security Council. So we need to reform these international institutions if we really want to build global peace. Here, we, the people, call the leaders who will be gathering tomorrow, that they have to take and to feel responsible on solving the problems that they cause. They have the power. They have the power. They should, we are telling them, the world is watching you. You have to use your power to heal, not to harm. You should use your power to unite, not to divide. You should use your power to solve problems, not to create problems. This is our message to the leaders that will meet tomorrow in Rio. Finally, President Lula, I'm so proud of you. Really so proud of you. You are the hero of those fighters for social justice. You are the... For me, I never say this to any president around the world. But with you, President Lula, I convey you the thanks from the people who fight for social justice. You represent them. So please be strong and continue your commitment to the social justice. Continue and don't doubt on it. You are not only the representative of Brazilian people. You are representative of every person in the planet who is struggling, fighting, sacrificing, dreaming for equality and social justice. At the same time, I want to thank you on behalf of Palestinian people and Arab people and Arab Spring. Thank you for standing with Palestinian people. Thank you for condemning the genocide in Palestine committed by Israel. Thank you for condemning the apartheid that caused and used by Israel against Palestinian people. Thank you so much. And to the South Africa, I was expecting the president, and now he's the representatives. Thank you so much to South Africa. Thank you on behalf of Arab Spring countries. Thank you on behalf of Arab people. Thank you on behalf of all Palestinian people, because you were brave enough to hold Israel accountable in the International Court for Justice. Thank you, dear, and I love you, Brazil. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Muito obrigada, senhora
Mrs. Tawakkol